Hey, welcome to SpaceX Daily, episode 35. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Today is July 17th, 2026. From Starbase to orbit, here's your SpaceX rundown. Raptor ignition failure on Flight 13 forces a rapid retest cycle that tests how quickly Starbase can iterate on engine start reliability. Elon Musk stated the next Starship attempt would occur in a few days after the T0 abort on Flight 13. The abort occurred when multiple Raptor engines on the Super Heavy booster failed to start. Musk posted that the issue was isolated to engine start sequencing rather than a broader hardware fault. The flight had been scheduled from Starbase in South Texas. This development continues the Starship flight test campaign that was last covered on July 16, where the central open questions remain full rapid reuse cadence and orbital refueling timeline. Observers will watch whether the fix allows a turnaround within the stated window. While Starbase works the engine start fix, the rest of the Falcon and Starshield manifest continues without pause. From an engineering standpoint, the T0 abort on Flight 13 centered on Raptor engines failing to reach ignition after the hold-down clamps released. Engine start requires precise sequencing of propellant valves, igniter energy, and chamber pressure rise before the vehicle can lift. Any deviation in valve timing or residual gas temperature can prevent the flame front from stabilizing, triggering the onboard abort logic that shuts down the remaining engines. The design choice to release clamps only after a confirmed start command trades a small window of ground hold time for the ability to abort cleanly if ignition does not occur. That trade-off keeps the booster on the pad rather than allowing a partial liftoff that would demand a more complex flight termination system. The rapid turnaround Musk described therefore hinges on whether the start sequence telemetry points to a software timing fix or a hardware adjustment such as igniter energy or purge flow. Either path collapses the idiot index of the start transient by reducing the number of ground tests needed to certify the next attempt. The next static fire will reveal whether the fix restores the full start reliability demonstrated on earlier flights or whether a deeper valve or sensor change is required before Flight 14. Raptor production rate versus Starship demand remains the tracked open question for the engine program. A software-only resolution would preserve the current production tempo, while a hardware change could temporarily slow the cadence of completed engines available for stacking. The same power scaling constraints that affect Starship engines also shape the compute side of the Musk stack. EXAI acquired APR Energy for more than $1 billion to secure mobile power generation capacity. The deal brings the Colossus supercluster power supply above 1 gigawatt. The turbines are intended to support rapid scaling of training and inference clusters. The acquisition bypasses longer lead utility infrastructure timelines. Power availability remains a central constraint for further cluster expansion. XAI and Colossus sit on the tracked Musk compute stack, whose open questions include Colossus power and next cluster scale. Today's purchase directly addresses the power bottleneck that has limited training run growth. With the physical power layer secured, XAI is also shipping new software to developers. XAI released Grok 4.5 with updated inference optimizations and budget tier pricing. The model integrates directly into the Cursor code editor for developer workflows. Release notes highlight improvements in reasoning speed and context handling. The update expands access for users already running Grok instances inside Cursor. Distribution through the editor places the model in front of an active developer audience. Cursor remains the tracked distribution point where Grok reaches developers, and today's release directly advances the open question of model availability and quality inside the editor. While the AI side iterates quickly, national security payloads keep Falcon busy on the West Coast. SpaceX successfully deployed 21 data transport satellites for the Space Development Agency on a Falcon 9 mission. The satellites form part of the Tranchwood Transport Layer constellation. The launch originated from Vandenberg Space Force Base. This marks the third such SDA mission flown by SpaceX in recent weeks. The deployment adds optical crosslinks and resilient communications capacity for military users. Starshield and national security contracts remain a tracked program whose open questions center on contract awards and separation from the civil constellation. Today's third Tranche 1 flight moves that manifest forward without reported delays. Another civil agency customer is also expanding Starlink's reach beyond low Earth orbit. NASA selected Starlink for real-time imagery downlink from the Orion spacecraft during Artemis 3. The link will supplement existing deep space communications. Starlink terminals on Orion will handle high-bandwidth video and telemetry. The decision extends Starlink's role beyond low Earth orbit services. Integration testing is expected ahead of the crewed lunar mission. Starlink is a tracked program whose open questions include subscriber growth, profitability, and direct-to-cell capability ramp. The Artemis 3 selection adds a new high-bandwidth use case that could influence both maritime and future deep space service lines. While U.S. programs advance, a new reusable booster test appeared overseas. Chinese state programs demonstrated a reusable booster recovery on an offshore platform. The test targeted rapid turnaround metrics that Falcon 9 currently holds. Recovery geometry differed from SpaceX tower arms. The demonstration signals intent to compete on launch cadence and cost. Falcon 9 remains the only operational reusable orbital booster with flight-proven reuse counts above 20. Falcon launch cadence and reuse is a tracked program whose open questions include annual launch rate ceiling and booster life limits. The Chinese test introduces a potential new variable for cadence competition but does not yet alter proven Falcon reuse counts. On the AI front, xAI's acquisition of APR Energy supplies mobile turbines that push Colossus power capacity past 1 gigawatt, directly addressing the energy bottleneck for next training runs. Grok 4.5 ships with explicit cursor integration and budget pricing, widening the model's reach among developers who already use the editor. Cursor's zero-day patch for repo poisoning was delivered without a CVE, keeping the platform's security posture current for users running Grok agents. The combined moves tighten the loop between xAI model releases, cursor distribution, and the physical power infrastructure required to sustain further scale. Worth keeping an eye on, Black communities in Mississippi already experiencing elevated lung disease rates now face 59 unpermitted natural gas turbines installed by xAI for the Colossus 2 site. Regulatory filings show the turbines operated without required federal clean air permits. Local residents and advocacy groups have filed complaints citing health impacts. Resolution would require either retroactive permitting or relocation of generation assets. And a quick market note, SPCX is at $131.11, up 3.2%. Before we go, Starship's next attempt will show whether the engine start fix holds under flight conditions. That covers everything worth knowing about SpaceX today. SPCX is trading at $131.11, up 3.2%. A quick rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify goes a long way. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. This show comes to you from the NARA Network. If you want another sharp daily briefing, Modern Investing Techniques has you covered. Modern strategies for Canadian and U.S. investors. All our shows are free at naranetwork.com. Prefer reading? Today's full write-up, sources, and transcript are on the episode blog at naranetwork.com. Same briefing, readable format. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.